G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad and the ugly. The ugly being the version 42 patch release. We're not really going to talk about that. We all know it was a bit of an embarrassment. They did manage to get it fixed in the end, so we'll just leave it. As far as the rest, which would be the good and the bad, goes, I am enjoying version 42 quite a bit. There are some things that I really do not like, and that would come down to some bugs which hopefully will get fixed. Being stuck in spawn, random movement bugs, Iggy and Scorch's turrets not targeting anything and just randomly sort of spazzing out and aiming everywhere but where you want them to aim. Couple of other little bugs, but that is to be expected, and Epic has been pretty good with getting rid of bugs in the past, so we can assume that they're going to be just as good at getting rid of them in the future. So, a little bit more bad, but we'll move on and just mainly talk about the good. I am 4-1 as a pretty much a support main. Who's now just loving off lane as much as I ever have. I am so happy to see Narbash back and alive. We had a match yesterday with 2 Richters and a Narbash, no phase, and I thought it was brilliant. I've seen Muriel's being played, I've seen Deckers being played, Narbash, Richter, and I think I've only come across phase 2 or 3 times, which is quite nice. Not saying she should never be used, but it's just good to sort of see her even out in the rotation of supports. Another thing I'm very happy about is that a lot of heroes that were a little bit, not so much lackluster, but easily counterable, using Aurora as the perfect example. You know, if Aurora was picked in the draft before the support was picked, you could pretty much guarantee that we're going to have Purity Sensor on the enemy team. That did not, however, mean that Purity Sensor was always going to be used, but it was potential being there. Now there is still things like Group Stasis and stuff like that that can counter Aurora very, very well, but they're very expensive, so you don't expect them. And there are some cards that make her just a little bit more deadly, because she can be a bit more elusive and get her stuff off. I'm very much enjoying playing Aurora, and I'm glad that she is back. There has not been a single hero, I don't think, that anyone that I know has played and thought, nah, they just don't cut it. If you look back at the heroes that were kind of considered weak, like Iggy, Richter, Narbash, Deck and Muriel, probably pretty much it. Shinbi, even though they could be deadly in the right hands, and Kalari, they're actually very, very strong. It seems like everyone is very, very strong, provided that they're in the right hands and they're used the right way, or they're built the right way. So I'm very much enjoying version 42 in that aspect. Obviously I did not enjoy the launch of the game, or the launch of the patch. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the card system. I love the premise behind it. I love the idea of it, but 4 or 5 decks in, and I go to make a deck, and I'm just like, yeah. I have a support deck, I have a carry deck, I have a jungle deck, I have an offlane Aurora deck, and I have a sustained caster build. And I can't really be bothered building anything else, to be honest. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's just me being in a mood, or if it's kind of that bland, but to me it sort of seems like there are some amazing ideas behind some of the card abilities, but a lot of them actually end up being very, very cheap cards that don't translate well into the late game. Like Sieger gives you extra damage against non-hero units and structures. That's a great idea, but it's an early game card. and it's not that strong. So a lot of the really good cards, they sound really great, but they don't translate well to the late game. Not saying that there aren't a lot of really good cards. There are, and what I'm actually planning on doing going forward is I want to change my A to Z series to becoming not so much a full gameplay, but more of a, this is my favorite card for this hero. So we're going to start off with Aurora and talk about a card that I'm absolutely adoring on her, and we'll hopefully do that tomorrow or the next day. We will still have full gameplays. Apart from that, I don't really have any issues apart from that. Everything else seems to work pretty well. I am a little bit shitty about the realization of why rep is going to be so scarce, and that is to try to get more cash out of the people so that they can rank things up, because there are a lot of people that would find ranking up cards very addictive, and it does become costly quite quick. You will go through all your rep and ranking up heroes. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a really bad thing. Epic does need to make money, but I think it's a little bit too expensive. 750,000 for a rank up, and what I can only assume is up to 100,000 to get a card to rank 10 seems a bit much. So in the end, my initial impressions would come down to, as far as heroes go, very happy. Everyone seems pretty good at the moment. I can't there are some that sort of, you could say, oh, they're a bit strong, but everyone in a way, if they're built properly, sort of seems like they're a bit strong. I love a lot of the cards. I do like the gem system. I think the deck builder is probably as good as you could get it as far as ease of use. I don't think there's much that you could do to make that any easier. I think that's pretty decent. Not the hugest fan of all of the changes to do with currency outside of the actual game, in the menu wise. Gameplay I am loving, as per usual. I'm not 100% sold on the attack speed, but we'll have to wait and see. So all in all, I think it's a pretty decent patch. I apologize for the fact that I sound like something is stuck up my nose. I am not well. But yeah, all in all, pretty happy with the whole thing. I think in the end it is a decent patch, and we'll just have to wait and see as far as the meta goes and how long lasting these changes are going to be. But yeah, I'm quite happy, and I hope that everyone else is as well. If you're not though, I would love to hear what issues you have with version 42. If you are happy with it, I'd love to hear what you love about version 42. So leave all that in the comment section in the down there. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you thought it was shit, and subscribe for more Paragon content, guys. We'll be having, as I said, the A to Z series coming up, full gameplays. The A to Z series will include one card that I think really works with said hero, and we will be doing hero guides and build guides going forward. It's just going to take me a little bit to get a bit of a database going, but we'll get there eventually, guys. So as per usual, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.